So we've talked before in other videos and articles about how to have creative ways for your customer to experience your products without ever touching your products, which is the challenge of any e-commerce store. And now a lot of people think of photos and videos, but there are other types. And so if you're wondering about that, go watch that other video. It's eye-opening. There's so many other ways to get someone to experience your products without them touching it. But even in the videos category, there are still many ways to use video that most brands aren't doing. Most likely because it's not as easy as taking a photo, and it takes some intentionality. It's even more expensive to create, but it doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be really expensive. But video is so much more effective at communicating, and we know that by the fact that YouTube is the second largest search engine, second to Google, and Instagram, as a social media platform, has actually moved over to a video platform. I think they consider themselves a video platform, not a photo platform anymore. And it doesn't take a brain surgeon to understand that video is more effective in communicating than words or pictures. And so when we use it in our products, how can we leverage video in the best way possible? And it's important to remember that people take action. We've talked about this before. They take action based on emotion. So they take action to actually buy your product based on the feelings that they have, and they make the decision, or they back up that purchase with the logic that you give them, right? So how much does it cost, and does it meet the features and benefits, and all those kind of things. And we all know those feelings, right? When we want to buy something, right? We feel the urge because we want it, and then we have to rationalize it. And so video can do that really effectively. It can sell both those things really effectively, better than words can a lot of times, or at least, and they all play together as a team. But we're going to talk about how we can use video to do both of those things really effectively on your PDP, on your product detail page, and utilize it in a way that you may not be thinking before. So, what are the types of video that we can utilize on our PDP? We're going to go through those today. The first one is the video ad. Now, we've done lots of videos about video ads, which is pretty meta. And they can be funny, they can be serious. We've actually done quite a few of our own video ads, and you can look those up on YouTube and other places for our products. But regardless, they need to be interesting. They have to be engaging, right? And this is often used. It's a video ad, so it's used for paid social and other paid channels, YouTube, etc. But why not put those video ads on your PDP? If you're making them anyway, put them on your PDP, because you're selling that product, right, on the product detail page. It amazes me how many brands make and invest so much in video ads, and they're really great and they do well, and they don't put them on their PDP. And so if you make video ads, put them on your PDP. If you don't make video ads, consider making video ads. And there's many ways to do that. You don't have to spend $300,000, $500,000 on a video ad with the Harmon Brothers. You can do video ads yourself. You just have to make sure that the structure is right and that the quality is right. And you should be exploring this. So the first type is the video ad. The second type is the virtual video salesperson. And now we've talked about in other articles, we've talked a little bit about this idea of a live virtual salesperson on your product detail page. There's a lot of interesting benefits of doing something like this, but it requires certain technology and people, right? So if a customer comes to the sales page and wants to talk to somebody, instead of the chat button, maybe it's a video button, right? There has to be a person on the other side, and they have to be available. And there's technology barriers, and there's just how many, there's people barriers. And so what if there was a way to do this without being live? And there is. You could pre-record a person selling a product, like showing the customer the product as if they were talking to them in person, or as if they were doing it live, and the various options of that product, maybe the different colors, the different sizes, They could even sell the features and benefits and show it to them. They could talk about all the de-risking factors, the warranty and return policy. They can even talk about the brand, why it was created, and the uniqueness behind the reason you created this versus maybe competitors' products, right? That entire pitch can be done as a recorded static video that sits on the product detail page, as if you were in person. And it's really effective. Almost no brands do this, but the ones that do it see great reward from doing it. If you can do it, if you can create it really effectively. And so that's the second type, is the virtual video salesperson. The third is the product in use video. And this is simple. This is where you display the product being used by people the way those people would want to see it used, right? And so this is just simply taking the opportunity to show the details of the product, to answer any concerns about the product, to show how it's used. Maybe you show other people using it, to answer those questions that someone might have about, is this going to work for me? How would I use it? What will it look like when I use it? Will it work correctly, et cetera, et cetera? All those questions become objections in the customer's mind, which decrease our conversion rate. And so eliminating those really effectively in video, and then also being able to Trojan horse sell your brand inside that video. It might be through your personality, or it might be through how you talk about the product, or explicitly talking about your brand. You can do that as well, and you can start to condition this customer to not only remove those objections, but really want your product, and that would increase your conversion rate. So that's the third video, product and use video. And then the last video type that we'll talk about today is the unboxing video. And we'll do another video about the unboxing video type that we can kind of link to, and the article as well. But the unboxing video is something that's really powerful. We all know it. We've all seen them on YouTube and other places, but it's often what brands leave to the chance of influencers on YouTube or through their social media to unbox their product. And a lot of times brands have influencer programs, which we've talked about before, ambassador programs, where they'll manage the unboxing of their product with different influencers, and that's a great marketing technique. But look, there's a real benefit to doing it yourself as well, and not leaving it to chance. And even if your influencers are doing it, still doing it yourself. And we dig into that in depth in this other video. But look, if you can do it, then you can begin getting the benefit of that, and you can start right now. A lot of these different video types take some planning, and an unboxing video does take planning, but it should be more natural to you. Something you can do and start right now. And when you can use that to remove questions in the customer's mind and make them want your product, you'll increase your conversion rate. And so those are 4 types of product videos that you can create. And now I've got 4 things to keep in mind when creating those videos. And this is important because otherwise they won't be effective. And so the first thing to keep in mind when you're creating any video or any media that you put on your product detail page is the quality. No video is better than a bad video. And no matter what you do, the quality needs to be really, really high. So no matter what type of video you choose, make sure it's a high quality. That means you need to get the right equipment. That means you need to understand how a video might be created. That means you need to script it out so that you're not just rambling through things. And because a lot of brands may not have that expertise in-house, the easy way to do it is you can sub it out, right? You can hire people to do those videos for you. There's all kinds of people that you can hire to do that. You can hire people like us to help you set the strategy for how you use that. So you don't have to handle that in-house necessarily. But if you do, make sure it's high quality. Make sure you educate yourself on this. And there are lots of brands that do this really, really well. And so you can model them. You know, Groove Life is a brand of ours, and you can go to their website, you can go to their YouTube page, and you can see how they do all their videos. And they do that all in-house, and they do it really, really well. And there's many, many other brands as well. The second thing is script. Now, I mentioned this a second ago, but make sure that you know where you're going and you don't just wing the video. This is more important when you're talking about things like video ads, right? Where it's very, very scripted, and it's maybe less important on more casual videos like product and use videos. But both need a script, because even if it's a casual video, it needs to feel high quality. It needs to feel professional, and that takes knowing where you're going to go and scripting it, so at least you have a roadmap. People's attention is limited, and so if you don't do it with a script, you won't be able to create the equation for what you want to say at the right time, and that is really important. There's an art to creating a great script, and we can link to more information about how you do that for something like a video ad. But we want to make sure that the front end has the right things in the first few seconds, and the back end has the right things in the last few seconds, as well as everything in between. So the script is the second thing. The third is brand. Now, when you're doing a video, you want to make sure that you communicate the right things, especially that being your brand. Your brand is like the only differentiator. We've talked about this before. It's the really only differentiator that you have, because your product can be ripped off. You'll have competitors. Your brand is the only unique thing, and so you want to build that up. So make sure that you talk about that. Make sure you allow your customers to leave with that in their mind, and they understand the difference between you and maybe anyone else, or the reason why you created this product, because it matters in the long run. The last thing to keep in mind is make it reusable. And so look, if you're going to go through the effort of making any type of content, especially video content that might be very expensive, like let's say a video ad that you had somebody else do, make sure that you can use it everywhere. You want to get the most mileage that you can out of all these pieces of content, out of these videos. And so, make sure that when you record it, one version is for the PDP. Then you can cut it down for social media clips, and you can have many social media clips out of one video. You might want to send it out in relevant emails, etc., etc. Make sure that your videos have maximization, and make sure they're reusable from the beginning when you're setting out to do them, and that you create them with that in mind, so that you get the most mileage out of them and you have the least waste. And so, just to sum all this up, we all know that video is a great way to communicate with customers, yet so many brands don't do it well, or don't do it at all, because they perceive it as really hard and really expensive. And while it does take intentionality, there's a huge upside to using video, and it doesn't have to be really hard. It doesn't have to be really expensive. And so if you'd like to improve your strategy that you use for video and other content to sell to your customers, reach out to us, and we'd love to help. Thanks.